Hi, this is Tessa with HIP over 50. So, do you need healthcare if you come to the UK or is it free? Are you eligible for NHS care if you are just a visitor? Well, here's everything you need to know about getting healthcare when you're visiting or staying in the UK. I'm Tessa with HIP over 50. This channel is all about my journey back to England after living over in the US and Canada most of my life, and everything that I'm learning, I'm sharing with you. So, can you get NHS care here if you are a visitor, or do you need to get private health care? Well, in order to qualify for free health care through the NHS, you must be what's called ordinarily resident in the UK. That basically means you are living in the UK lawfully, you're voluntarily settled as part of the regular order of your life, as they say on the gov.uk site, and you are settled here, whether for a short or long duration, but you have basically the right to remain. You have legal right to be here. And that is the key word. You have legal status to be here. It doesn't matter what your nationality is, whether you've paid UK taxes, whether you've made national insurance contributions, whether or not you own a property or have an NHS number does not matter, but your residency status does when it comes to being eligible for health care. So here is how to access healthcare in the UK, whether you're a visitor or resident. This is how it works. So much like in the US where we have 911 for emergencies, they have 999 here for emergencies in the UK, or at least in England. And that means that if you are, you think you're having a heart attack or somebody next to you is, or perhaps you've been in an auto accident, you would call 999. That would be the first number you would call. If it's not an emergency and you're just having a healthcare issue and perhaps you're not registered with a GP or you're not sure what to do, you can also call 111, which puts you right through to the NHS. This is something I did one weekend when I was having a little health issue, and I called 111 because I couldn't reach my GP on the weekend. And they, asked me some questions. Then they called me back. Then they made me an appointment in a clinic not too far from me that was open on the weekend. So basically, an out of office hour appointment. And the guy that saw me had come all the way down from the north of England to do this shift. So I was very grateful for that. So that's how that works. Call 111 if you need medical help or advice. The next step you could take is to go to a walk-in center. Now, they're not like they are in the US where they're all, usually privately run. They would be run through the NHS here, but you could go to an urgent treatment center or a walk-in center, basically like an A&E department. If you had, let's say you thought you might have broken your arm or something, or perhaps you've got some other kind of injury that you really need to get treated, that's where you would go. The fourth option would be just to go to your local pharmacy or chemist shop. Now, unlike in the US, pharmacists here are kind of enabled to help you with a lot more advice than pharmacists can in the US. If you have, let's say you have a migraine or something, or you have real severe tummy trouble or something, you can talk to a pharmacist or chemist in a shop and they can offer you really good advice, and they also have some products behind the counter that they can give you that are maybe a little more helpful than something that you could buy over the counter, for example. And then last but not least, if it's not urgent, you can call and make an appointment with your GP, which is also a doctor. So if you're planning on working or living in England for any amount of time, definitely register with a GP in your local council district. You have your option of which one you choose as long as they represent your area. If you're going to be here for more than 24 hours but less than 3 months, you can even still register as a temporary patient. However, being registered does not entitle you to free NHS hospital treatment. Just be aware of that. So how does it work if you are a visitor? Well, let's say, I talk about coming over here for up to 6 months. If you're in England for less than 6 months, I would get covered with a personal medical insurance policy for the duration of your visit, even if you're a former UK resident. Because if you're not ordinarily resident, you will be charged 150% of the national NHS rate for any care that isn't covered by personal insurance. So let's say you had that broken arm. Well, it costs the NHS on average of about £3,000 to treat that. So if you had to pay this out of pocket, that would be close to £5,000 or $5,700. So ouch, that would definitely hurt. So if you're staying for less than 6 months and you'd like medical coverage while you're here, I would look for something called personal travel insurance which includes medical cover. Make sure it's not just travel insurance, it should have also medical cover. If you're from the US, you may be familiar with the brand names Cigna and Blue Cross Blue Shield. Well, they both have plans. Cigna has global insurance and Blue Cross Blue Shield has something called Geo Blue, so look into those. What if you're visiting England for more than 6 months? Well, in that case, you'll be on a visa. So you will need to pay an immigration health surcharge along with your visa. If you have this kind of coverage, then it will be really helpful to you, but it doesn't cover everything. I mean, it won't cover dental, eye care, prescriptions, or any hospital-based care, but it will cover you going to a GP, for example. So as of now, the health surcharge is £624 per year if you're an adult and you're not a student. If you're younger than that, it's a little bit less, or if you're a student. And you pay for that every year for the length of your visa. So you have a 2-year visa, you're paying that health surcharge for 2 years, 5 years, etc. So it's been announced that this fee, along with other visa fees, are going up this month in October. And going up by 66% is what I found on one site, but the official gov.uk site still shows the fee as £624 per year. So there you go. So what services are free? I've talked about this in another video where there's actually quite a lot you can get for free here, which is pretty awesome. These services are free to all. So if you go to an A&E, an accident or emergency department of any hospital, outpatient or whatever, that care is free. They want you to, if you have an emergency, it's taken care of. However, if you're admitted to the hospital from that point on, it is not free. Any family planning services that you may need is free. Any infectious disease treatment is free. And no visitor who visits England will be charged for testing, treatment, or vaccination services for COVID-19. So that's good to know. So generally, you're eligible for free emergency care no matter what your residency status, but you will be charged for hospital and GP care unless you're a legal resident. For example, I'm eligible for free NHS care. I do get a free eye exam every couple of years, but I pay for my own glasses. I pay for a private dentist because there's not a lot of NHS dentists where I live. And yeah, but it's pretty awesome. So if you're not a resident and you're only going to be here for 6 months, definitely get a travel insurance policy with medical cover to be on the safe side. And if you're staying here longer than 6 months and you're on a visa, which you would have to be, then you will be covered under the health insurance surcharge. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'm always happy to answer what I can. And I thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I will see you on the next video. Bye.